Okay, so we're back in a new place, new background. If you hear anything in the background, it's within this house. It's just Adventure Time on the TV. Oh, that's okay. Aquarius coming in hot. Well, Five of Swords. There's so much astrology. There's so much going on, and there's a lot of unintentional resistance, blind faith, and blind spots getting poked, exposed, or otherwise worked through. And it's a little more public, I think, than we would like. It's a little bit more obvious than I think we would like. But if you have community worthy of being aware of all your imperfections, whether you think they can see it or not, it's a good practice to be vulnerable with whoever you trust, whoever trusts you back, whoever actually respects that trust. There's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. You know, it's like every way you have learned the same lesson is worth its weight in gold for a better life. And yet, this atmosphere here is everywhere. I mean, especially online. Even if it's not your particular timeline, there's somebody talking about something that drains us all. And if we're going to talk about it, it can't be the obvious shit. It has to be that sneaky stuff. It has to be, you know, when someone is so ego driven that they will win at the cost of your success, because that is how they compete. That is how they feel good. That is how they feel in control of the obvious chaos in the atmosphere, in the weather, in the culture. There's a way to embrace crazy, you know, but with the polarity between the new moon nodes, the Pluto full moon today, you know, opposing Leo, and these Sabian symbols attached to the nodes that have everything to do with emerging. It's like emerging in a world like this isn't exactly, you know, it's not going to blend well with with every personality type that there is. So evolving is really hard when we think or feel like the life is being squeezed out of us at every angle. And that sensation is no illusion. I mean, this is real life. This is happening all over the place. You know, it doesn't have to be a part of your reality, or at least like a dominant part, but you can recognize it in the culture. Let's not pretend that corruption isn't front and center, you know? Any guilt, shame, resistance that surfaces now, especially in Leoseason, I would suggest to just accept them for the scenes that they are when they flash in your memory. Because some of this is retrograde stuff. Pluto, Neptune, Saturn, all retrograde. You know, the Sun squaring Chiron that eventually will trine at some point, and Venus square Mars, all this internal personal conflict that's getting highlighted in ways that are, I mean, not to say it's comfortable, but they're being highlighted in ways that are more comfortable than they could otherwise be. It's not gentle, but it's just real. You know, there has to be a willingness to be emotionally human these days when everything is becoming more and more and more mental, right? The mental realm itself is so abstract. It's not merely human. It's busy. You know, it's busy in a non-physical way. And I think a lot of folks are living there and have been living there um, more recently than before, but it's also more intensely than before. So there's this psychological pressure to confront ourselves about anything painful we have experienced or are experiencing right now, including those swords are representative of air, right? So, including anything imagined to be painful. In a society that has its own themes, expectations, rules, morals, real or not, enforced or not, laws, religions, and then all the isms, right? That you can think of, and the ones that we can't think of that are out there. Being human is painful. Not all the time, but it's painful. So, without some kind of effort, it doesn't absolve you of pain. The pain of not moving forward when you're ready. The pain of, I don't know, abuses of power. Even as they get exposed, you may have some grief about changes, sadness over this consistent awareness of how everything could be much better, but the sorrow is still on the surface of your mood, mentally strong, but moody. For others, it is having a strong mind, which can no longer depend on itself to remember its own humanity because it's too busy programming stuff, a new reality, a new choice, a new job, a new home, a different way to live, different way to feel, programming new desires, making this shift from this point to that point. It's a lot of um, many gears that are looking to lock in, but they're wiggling around right now. And there's either, you could be feeling angst, but it's not controlling your ability to make a decision or to know what's right. And yet, blind faith, old structures, and personal vulnerabilities, this Leo season, it makes them painfully obvious, uncomfortably obvious, maybe even cringe. That's okay. Who cares? At some point, you're going to have to live a life, you know? There's so much change going on that, man, outside of just basic human decency being intact, I think things would be better if we got a little more loose. If the muscles had a chance to step into a sauna, do you think that after 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, your mind wouldn't loosen up a little bit? Because the body is getting something it's been needing? How tense are we? How tense are you? How tense am I? When you really think you're not, do you ever notice how it's all in your head? How it's always a plan? There's always a way out mentally. I'll say this season, there are so many ways um, out of tension, out of constriction. You know, Saturn retrograde trine the sun is quite helpful with that, and that'll happen this Leo season. There's many ways to lean back, you know, despite the heat. Focus on the essentials. This is a very in between way of living, you know? It's like you know this is a part of history. And whatever's essential from all that learning helps you do this. The mental realm being this, oh, geez, non-physical space. It is, how do I say this? You know, it's like spend enough time in there and you'll forget your own heartbeat. Live a life. Go do some living. Have an experience. Go to a concert. Talk to your cousin on the phone. Listen to your niece's dreams. Let her tell you about what's going on at school. Like, connect with your family. Choose to know the people you love better. And stop with this pity party. You've already grieved it. That's enough now. On the top of the deck, you know, is it not enough? Are you sure there's not a different way to feel the mood? Whatever you've been doing correctly deserves some kind of appreciation. Not to say you do it all alone, but you do have your experiences that are just with you. There are old illusions that they are history. They're hanging out in the back booth of your conscious awareness. And I just don't think you're interested in, yeah, I don't think you're interested in you, me, whoever listens to this reading. I don't really think we're in the mood to even enter that restaurant that has that booth that we used to be so comfortable going to for a quick drink, for our favorite snack, for a nice appetizer, or just to meet up with people that we no longer know because we realized we saw them correctly for quite a while. We realized the reality of all these reversed cards are really about changing the way that we organize our effort for needs, desires, and like personal will. Leoseason is a sauna, you know, but it's like, well, okay, it really does go into the moon's nodes, but it's really like you are emerging into a different way to approach effort, just generally. Like there is no more handling of something. We could use different verbs and adjectives. There's no more, wow, I just gotta push through this and pull myself up by my bootstraps and just struggle, because that's how sick society is and that's my life. Like, okay, like, yeah, that's an option. Like, that's the way to think. Where are you going with that that framing? Life is more than that. Life is bigger than that. And accepting that to be the truth, while all the wands and swords and cups of a life you're barely able to relate to anymore, you know, as those keep falling out, coming down, that, I mean, there's nothing in your way. There's a way to live where everything gets in your way before you experience it. There's a way of living where you can be really plugged into the hive mind and go nowhere, you know, but believe and feel that you're really standing for something except for your ability to rebel, like to actually rebel. A completely new life is not just a new way of thinking, it's literally changing your beliefs. It is shifting the way you think about emotional fulfillment. It requires you to drop this concept of withstanding when you could just embrace instead. Even if you're embracing the truth and it's got some consequences, it's a little easier to go that route than to not let these go, not let it all drop. But it's more internal. It's more internal. It's more about each individual at this point can feel the pressure, you know. The pressure to be who you are. You're gonna have to loosen that expectation, that goal, that thread. Who are you beyond your mental ideas? Or that's redundant, but like your best idea. Who are you beyond the betrayals you have been able to break away from, move past, run away from the grief it actually caused you. You know, both the knight and the queen are in between, just loud and busy bullshit. Like, it doesn't apply. It doesn't fucking apply. This is the reading. Fuck all these cards. This is the advice. It's very simple. This is it. This is the message. The nodes at 29 degrees Leo and Aquarius. One is a mermaid becoming human. The other is a butterfly emerging from a chrysalis. It's not about, are you ready? You've been ready. I don't know what everyone's up to, but this Leo season is literally stepping into a sauna. Take a walk outside. It's hot, okay? But you are essentially sitting with your potential and accepting it for what it is, and deciding to not guilt trip yourself over being excited about something for once. Excited about the change, despite maybe plenty of hard parts about it. The message is, regardless, you're coming outside, you're out here. There are a lot of things going on that you do for others and yourself that are of quality. So while there may be residual sorrow, who it is that you really are, it's not even about a becoming. It's about how comfortable are you with the brightness? That's not the right word. It's more like a self-assuredness that's happening, that's going on, that's in the weather, you know, personally speaking, with the personal planets and the sun, moon, and, you know, eventually a solar eclipse in a little couple weeks or whatever. But it's not about, are you ready? It's about this in between no man's land of, I know I'm ready. I can arguably say I feel ready, and yet there is resistance. So what the fuck? And it's like, yeah, what the fuck? That's frustrating. That doesn't mean you're not progressing. The expectation is probably inappropriate. That's what that is. Are you capable of accepting yourself beyond your current threshold? Because it's going to make all this way more fun, way easier to enjoy your time, enjoy yourself, accept your flaws, blah, 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 be fabulous regardless. You know, you think the life is being sucked out of that middle card? I mean, look at her. The opportunities are coming in hot, they're coming fast, they're interested. A lot of them don't deserve your interest, they don't need your interest. But your current, what it is that you're doing within, has got to get expressed if it has not already. I mean, we're a week into Leo season by the time this video comes out. So, your breakthrough, well, look who it is. A new set of beliefs. Where are you coming from now? What are you making nowadays? What are your dreams? Have they become partial to your reality? Have they overwhelmed your reality? Because they're no longer ideas, they are your schedule. Beliefs are a strong mechanism to control the mind, whether it is a hive mind, group think, or just you and you and yourself. I mean, we can gaslight ourselves and not even know that we're doing it. The mind is quite powerful. Quite powerful. It's funny that now these cards are upright. Top of the deck. Yeah, I just think this season is very it's very eye-opening for blind faith, false dreams, wishful thinking, misplaced faith. You know, thinking your way is the way. What a mistake. Ace of Swords reverse, clouded judgment. At a base level, that's what that is. Someone this aware. I mean, Queen and King of Swords. Queen of Swords being Libra, King being Aquarius. Venus and Virgo right there. At least it just makes me think of Venus and Virgo. Off the top of my head, I don't know what Nine of Coins technically is astrologically, but I do know it's at least Virgo energy. And yeah, I don't know. It sounds simple, but you got to be emotionally human in a world this mental. It's overloaded mentally. Nine of Wands, Sagittarius, where's the passion for life? When's the last time you did some new thing that made you feel so uncomfortable, but it was so much fun and it was teaching you about yourself in a way that you had no control over? The Hierophant, not sure which way to pronounce it, but yeah, every once in a while your beliefs need to get checked. They might not be a bad standard or bad to keep close to the core. Once in a while, it's okay to check to see if you're actually living that way, right? That's a danger with the Aquarius North Node. I believe it is sometime next year that it will conjunct Pluto, and that's when we'll see the most extreme expression of this. But at its best, what is healthy for humanity, and also just, you know, it's not just outside the box or out of this world, but it is just new. It's super new. No one's ready to do it, but they all want it. Cool. it's embraced if it's really for the health of humanity. Otherwise, it's absolutely terrifying because the hive mind does not imply automatically that it's good morale, that it's even decent to life on this planet. You can't just go out there and buy a new earth to live on. Feeling, emotionally feeling human, that's important. That's a currency. Well, it can become a currency, if you catch my drift. People are very thirsty for that. It is hot, it's dry, it's crusty, it's foggy, it's ew right now. Just socially in the atmosphere, but there are pockets of people that reflect whatever is within, whether you're aware of it or not. I think people are, instead of ordering themselves around Leoseason, I think we're more interested in just letting ourselves live a little bit with whatever's going on or not going on. Within us, we're very clear about just being a little more free, a little less sad. Yeah, I'll acknowledge that this was depressing and this is sad and whatever, but where's the magic in that if I'm not, it's not just being willing, but if I'm not um, just happy to be alive, what you focus on becomes quite dominant. So if it starts to affect your mood, you know, we're not talking a temporary thing. We're talking months, years of a sustained melancholy, for example. You know, another way to say it is like forgive yourself for being attached to what you called a belief that was really just an impression you had on how to live based off of some observations of other people who experienced stuff that you didn't experience, but you still passed a judgment, you know? The world gets very messy when everything is so mental, so mental. So there's a lot of this tells me, despite that, there's room. There's room for some good life, some good associations. There's room for feeling good for a longer period of time before the news cycle reminds you of how corrupt the world is. I mean, if you're aware, it's really no shocker. It's nothing new to you. You've been aware of it. You've been knowing, right? Like it's not a shock factor. It's more of uh, I don't know, like when an empire is falling and you're just exhausted by being alive at the same time. It's hard to say it's all about you choosing the right perspective because the responsibility collectively is not on one person to just choose a different perspective and shift your mood like you're a robot. I mean, we're human beings, so yeah, the overwhelming desire to just get this life going and moving along and feeling the rush of a few steps that really get you there and to see those snowball in different directions and just to be excited about life and feel like you're allowed to do that in a world where we are increasingly aware, hyper aware, which means too aware of all the BS, the nasty, dark BS. And for those of us who are usually early to that, who may sound the alarms 20 years ahead of time, who try to tell your family, your friends, people you love that a lot of stuff that's going on now won't be exposed until, many years ahead of now. For anyone who's ever ahead of timing, ahead of pop culture, that kind of thing. It can also feel overwhelming for y'all because everyone else is finally catching up. They're finally there with you, and the fight feels different now. Fight feels different now. It's not even that we're tired. It's just, yeah, I gotta do something for myself. Otherwise you lose the heartbeat of why you're living, of why you're here, of why you're doing anything that you're doing. It's just humanity being at the center of your social experiences. That's healthy. That's beautiful. And that's also in the weather, astrologically speaking. Just don't be surprised when those experiences show you just how good life can be and get, how good it can stay, remain, and grow, and how all of that may have you reflecting on all those reversed cards from the beginning of this reading. They are historical. They are, I feel like it's rude to say that they're not patient, that they're ancient. They're not ancient, but they are from a past life. They're from a way of living that you don't relate to, that you're far enough away from that you won't repeat. There's no more waiting around either, by the way. That Knight of Swords and the Eight of Wands, that's all Sagittarius energy right there. And so this card fell out just like this. So we'll leave the Tower sideways. It's up to you. It's up to you. Are you going to embrace the inevitable polarity of being happy where you're at with yourself out in public when the world is chaotic? Feeling less afraid in a world full of reasons, like really reasonable reasons, like factual, stuff out there that would prove that it's worth your time to worry about stuff and be hyper vigilant and be super aware of every single genocide happening and every single murder happening and every single, yeah, you can go that way. You can do that. Go ahead. It'll drive you nuts, but okay. Just, that's not activism. That is not emerging. That is dying. That's turning inward and forgetting to put your hand on your heart in the process. It's expecting yourself to be like everyone else at a time when originality is something we're all desperate for. Forgetting about how to be yourself sounds terrifying to me. Maybe not to everybody, but to me, Leoseason is like, get into the sauna, sit your ass down, and just enjoy being uncomfortable, because it's gonna make your body and your brain and your heart healthier. You're not being made to feel uncomfortable so that you can feel tortured or suffer, you know. But you do deserve to live a life and go outside and not be afraid of everything. It's inevitable that tower moments will fill Leo season and the rest of summer, frankly, August as well, into other eclipses. But, you know, okay, and full force, full steam ahead. No more of this, you know, oh, I'm going to put one foot in the pool, but like just in case it's a little too cold for me, even though it'll be temporary, I'm just going to sit down and talk about how I'm going to jump in there and I'm going to put a philosophy around it, make it deep so I can connect with people. Like, okay, but like, did you get in the water? Are you even swimming? You talk about this pool and you never get into it. You talk about how great it is, how amazing it'll be, the influence, the health. You get into the sauna, you don't get into the sauna, but you talk about going in. Yeah, I just think tower moments are good. They don't have to be violent. Tower moments are just internal confrontations that you do with your psyche, whether you chose to or it surfaced, which is usually how it goes. You just have to notice that it's surfacing. It usually comes in the form of, I don't know, your back is tense. And then you realize it's been tense for like 3 months. And you finally do more than just think about it. I don't mean to come across as, you know, pushy or something, but it is, I'm trying more to say, being wild and free needs to be embraced as like a good human quality. That's all. That's all. So let's see, one more card, top of the deck. Let's see what we get. Okay. And here we go with the 29-degree mood. 29 degrees. Top of the deck. Oh. The High Priestess. You know when those moments are coming. It's not like you've struggled to notice the tension. Struggled to notice the tension between what? Between your beliefs and your action, between your desires and your needs, between the trauma of remembering and the trauma of being. The tension between wanting to just go out and live and being ready to do so. Or rather, thinking you're ready to do so. And if that's how it starts, oh well, that's fine. Just embrace that that's how it's starting for you. A lot of push, pull, but you finally get out there. Great. Celebrate it. Just actually have fun. If you prioritize fun, you know, life is way easier. It's way easier when you're embracing the fact that, yeah, I do know this. I do feel that this might be an issue 20 years from now. But for right now, I'm not going to put worry into it. I'm not going to be the saboteur of my own intuition. The High Priestess at the end of this Leo reading is also reminding me that similar to the 29-degree like mermaid symbol, South Node in Leo is the mermaid, and North Node Aquarius is the butterfly. The High Priestess is like the essence within that doesn't require any proof, but it's a very deep, deep landscape of information, I'll put it that way. And without giving thanks, without forgiving who you may have had to become in order to even have the opportunity you may have right now while you're reading, or sorry, while you're watching this. The High Priestess is always that, I don't know, it's like a sense of calm. You know, happy as a clam in high tide. I think that's how the saying goes. That's what the High Priestess makes me think of. It's the mermaid, perfectly comfortable. You know, in terms of the Sabian symbols with the South Node in Leo, it's the mermaid who's comfortable, never coming up to the surface. But that tower moment, these moments of change after change, sudden or not, they're all, for the most part, as annoying as some of them are, as rapid as a lot of this is, and as busy um, as this world continues to get. What has surfaced is a need and a desire, a need and a desire to live a completely different life that does not happen if you were not already comfortable in the unknown and what is hidden and what is not so obvious, because you're comfortable enough to just expect for what needs to be known at the time it needs to be known, and just stop with the whole impulse to control something because the outside world is so nuts. There's not only bad things going on, there are really, really good things going on. And if you can do whatever it takes to surround yourself with people who love to talk about that kind of stuff without ignoring the obvious challenges in society or the issues with certain cultures or whatever is going on wherever you're at, whatever country you're listening to this video in, there is a value in being really comfortable with not knowing everything all the time, with being a little Pisces about how you still approach certain parts of your life. There's a Pisces eclipse coming up not too long from now, so that whole vibration of Pisces isn't even fully done yet. Most of it, yeah, but there are these loose threads, you know, that deserve to come along with you as you step out a little bit more, as you raise your standard in a measured way. There's a lot to grieve. There's a lot of bummer energy in this reading. But the overwhelming impression I get with all the cards upright that are mixed into the messy mental chaos of things not going how you thought they'd go is that your beliefs, your values, your passion, your drive, and a clear head is totally accepting of whatever had to be experienced and whatever is being felt in the moment. It doesn't look to hold you back. These cards aren't showing me like a deeply troubled mood. If anything, it is the worst time for ego driven behavior, because while it might feel good to be like that, oh my God, it's as temporary as snapping your fingers. It's like the the rebound is quick. The boomerang comes back very hard, very fast. It's just not gonna work. I mean, to be a boss is different than to be bossy. To be confident is not the same thing as being arrogant. Onwards. It's not holding us back like it used to. The excuse is to let it do that? Sure, yeah. There's plenty of stuff out there, but it really depends on what you're focusing on. So, what is essential gets to come with you. But there are new people to meet, new experiences to have, new conversations to be in, new success to experience, upgrades in that way are very, very easy to like circle your life around that. It's hard to feel like a bummer when that's the vibe, when that's the mood on the inside of you, you know? That's what's important. That's the high priestess. On the inside of you, you're chill about whether you know or don't know anything at any time. It's really whatever. You know? Everything's mutable anyway. Everything's changing anyway. Relax. Release the tension. I think August will be a bit easier of a month astrologically, and as we get into Virgo season, there's a whole lot of stuff that was and is happening Leo season that isn't going to feel the same. So embrace it as just like a birthing process, you know? It's like no one is promising you that this is not going to be a little painful. You're just not on the other side yet, but you could spend a lot of time letting yourself be a human about it. It's okay to be a human being. Yeah, it's okay that you're not a machine, you know?